Hello, this is a story that really happened, which is true, because I know the folk it happened to. We were on the road with a horse and cart, Upper Gilshire, and they got late in the road for them, and they didn't have any lights on their cart. So they went to this farm and asked the farmer if they could get lodgings for the night in their byre or their barn, just to get a sleep down for the night with their kids. They had 2 or 3 wee kids. Now, the farmer gave them a stable lamp, which is an oil lamp, and he gave them that and showed them round to the byre to make a bed for the night. They gave them a can of tea as well, and away they went into the stall in the byre, put some straw down and made a bed for them and their family, the baby, the children. And there were a wee girl, I think she was about 4 or 5 years of age, this folk had. And she was lying down, but she was looking up at the loft. There was a loft above the byre, and there was a wee stool up there, a wee bucket stool. And nothing would do her till she would get this bucket stool down to play with. She wanted this stool down for some reason, I don't know. But she wanted it down anyway, she took a fancy to it. And the folk says, you can't touch that, it doesn't belong to you, that belongs to the farmer. You better leave it. No, she says, I want it down. I want to play with it. Right? So, and then this is, well, we'll take it down, you'll not do it any harm, and we can put it back up in the morning before the farmer comes in. So, they reached up and they took this wee stool down. Oh, she was very happy with it, and she was playing with it and sitting on it and making a table with it and whatever. And then they all fell asleep. But they waked up, the old wife herself waked up through the night, and she heard this voice in a distance at first. My stool, I want my stool, please, I want my stool. And the wife says, look at that family, lifting the family all sleeping, all sound asleep. There's that wire, nothing but this wee stable lamp they had. So she never wakened any of the rest of the family up. She tried to get me back to sleep, but this went on for 2 or 3 times. My stool, I want my stool. And she saw this old man wandering back and forwards inside the byre. And she says to herself, that's not the same man, she said, that he showed us in here, the night. That's not the same farmer. The farmer that showed us in here, she says, was a lot younger than him. I wonder what he's doing up at this time of the night, she says, wandering back and forth to the byre. But oh, just like that, they went away to the end of the byre and disappeared, never was seen. So the voice disappeared as well. It just went, my stool, I want my stool, and away it disappeared. Never heard any more sounds until the next morning. So the farmer comes in and he knocks them up and says, here's a can of tea for you, he says, some sandwiches the wife has sent round for your bairns. Well, thanks very much, the woman says. But she says, excuse me, she says, I would like to ask you something. And what is that, the farmer said? She says, look, she says, my wee lassie, she saw a stool up on the rafter up there last night, on one of the rafters, up in the loft. She said that she wanted it down, she said. And I didn't want it, she said, because we don't like putting our hands near any person's stuff, she says, unless we're told to do so. But nothing would do her, she said, that she would get it down. So she says, we got it down for her, she said. So she was playing with it and that. And she would be at a table with it and she was sitting on it. She told the farmer, you see. But she says, later on, she says, that night, she says, a bit later after that, they were all asleep. And I was lying making, she said. I heard this voice, she said, my stool, I want my stool, my stool, my stool. And she looked at him, she said, I could hear the voice at first and I couldn't see nobody, she said. And then she says, I looked at kind of side on, she said. And I saw this old man, she says, which I knew was no you, she said, because he was too old to be you. Oh, he says, Mrs. He says, I should have told you about that, he says. But he says, if she'd have left the stool up there, you wouldn't have seen that, she said. Because that was the old farmer, he said. My grandfather, he said, that used to own the farm. And he says his heart was in the place. And that stool has been up there since he left his farm. And that was the stool that he did the milking on. At certain times every night, with milking time, he used that stool. And his heart was in the farm. And but he says he won't do anybody any harm. He says he's been dead a long time now. But he always comes round, he says, and does his rounds in the farm, just to make sure everything is okay, the way he wanted it to be, as he was used doing when he was on this world. But he says he won't do you any harm. But I'm sorry, he says, if you got a fright, he says, but don't pay attention to it. He says, I should have told you about that, she says, but it never crossed my mind. He says, I didn't think that you would have noticed the stool up there, the wee girl wouldn't have noticed the stool up there. And I apologise to them. The woman says, oh, she says, it's not the dead, she says, that you have to be afraid of, she says, it's the living. And that was true. And every time they passed that road, she used to always go back into that farm again. If they were benighted on the road, they would get lodgings, a lie down in the byre. And ever since that, she's never seen nothing, nor heard nothing. Even although the wee girl took a stool down. When they went back to the farm, the wee girl took a stool down again. But no, never heard nothing, nor seen nothing since that. And that part of that family is still alive today. The people, the girl that took the stool down is still alive today. And I've heard it from her own mouth. And my mother's mouth, that story. They're still living in Ayrshire. And they were a well-known travelling family as well. But there are weird and queer things happen. And all the stories that comes from the travellers, some you can tell are untrue, but most are true. Because travellers like to prove things. They like to prove a thing. If you tell them a thing, they're not going to rest until they find if that's true or lies. That's the way. We were staying in an old house for sale, and it was an empty house, just an old empty cottage it was. No furniture, nothing. But it had a loft in it as well. And I was 12. And my father-in-law was there, and we heard this every night we did window furniture. We just had a bed in the corner and blankets and stuff, and we made tea up the fire, and the fire was still usual. And it was a shelter. We didn't have a home. We had a bit cover right enough for a bit canvas for putting a tent up, but we couldn't really get a place to put a tent up. But this night we were lying again, and we heard this scuffle up in the loft. Yeah, my father says, maybe it's rats, he says. Langtails, we couldn't. Maybe langtails, he says. But no, there wasn't one mark of a langtail, or there wasn't a mark of a beast in the house. The next day they lifted me up at this loft. It wasn't high. And there was a trapdoor, and in the trapdoor, which was lying was a scoop for corn, and a scoop for lifting corn, for scooping corn, and that was the exact sound that we heard. It was if somebody was moving corn.